You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the Chop Shop. Yeah, it's lit in the Chop Shop. Turn your dials up in the drop top. They ain't based the debate, but they keep it fact straight. Going 30 for 30. Let's do a first take on Facebook Live from 12 to 2. Rob Hatter and Jim Hicks going back and forth like Carter Ray, Skip Bayless, and Stephen Smith. From on the court, off the court, straight to the field. Not a man that steals, but I made it steal. To the octagon where I fight to kill. We go face to face, then you write your will. I don't play tennis, but I bring the racket. I'm on the floor, I attack the basket. Put you in the casket when I'm overlapping. Never showing mercy, cause I'm always snapping. Never showing mercy when I'm in the arena. Step into the ring, you see me as I beat him. Step into the court, I'm never backing down. Killing competition, I'm smacking down. Let me get back to the other stuff at the Chop Shop, cause they cutting up. It's Retro coming to you live to the Chop Shop. Now let's turn it up. Yeah, we in the Chop Shop, man. Shout out to Jim Hicks and Rob Hatter. You can catch the Chop Shop live from 12 to 2 on Facebook Live. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop.
H-Town! What's up? You know what time it is. It's time for the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's #1 urban sports talk show, and also your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatter, alongside Jim, the Cheat Sheet Hicks, coming to you live from Houston, Texas, but we're broadcasting all over the world. Jimmy's out over there fixing his hat up. And we got so many things to talk to you about today. You know, we're gonna have a packed day, but you know what, Jimmy? I was thinking about the day, man. It's just so unique about. I just like to thank. I want to thank all the Boom Boom Room. I want to thank everybody out there so much under these unique circumstances for joining us. And from the bottom of our hearts, we really, serious. And you know, we're on Facebook Live, we're on YouTube Live. You know, we just hope we can add some normalcy and some habit to your life, and you know that you and guess what? And doing you some kind of great benefit. And I hope you're giving you're giving benefit to us also. You know, hey Karen, Jimmy, you wanted me to give you a full report, and I'm going through my thing about on Thursday. Who were the? Hold up, they making me log in. Hold up, I'm trying to get a phone. It's making me log in, Jimmy. So
we'll pull them up later on.
Yeah, we'll put it up later on. But Jimmy, what you got today? What you got?
First we got NFL news. Get some of that out the way. That seems to be the main thing, the main sport that's holding up the rest of them. And for us news, because of free agency was last Wednesday, and you know, since we saw you guys on Thursday last on the Chop Shop, a few things have taken place in the NFL news. Of one, Emmanuel Sanders going to the Saints. How about that? You know, if Drew Brees already didn't have enough targets to throw at, he gets another in Emmanuel.
Got Michael Thomas already.
Yeah, I'm serious. So now, does that rise the expectations for the New Orleans Saints this season? Mind you now, look who's in their division. If I'm not mistaken, you know, in Atlanta.
Yeah.
who just picked up a running back to help elevate their expectations. Tampa
Bay, yeah,
who just picked up a quarterback to extremely elevate their expectations in New Orleans. So think about this. This NFC, this season, already, we haven't even mentioned the other division, but that division in particular is going to be fire.
Let me give you a tidbit about that division. Jimmy, they got, with Bruce Brees and Tom Brady, they got two coaches. I mean, two quarterbacks that their combined ages are 84 years old. Think about it. Yeah. I don't think that's ever happened before. But guess what, Jimmy? I don't know if you ever been to a Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. I have. Jimmy, it's the only stadium when they score. Oh, go on. What you got?
I feel remiss. I mentioned 3 of the 4 teams. I didn't mention the 4th one before you get started. Carolina also made a transaction at their quarterback position to increase their expectations. They and a head coach.
Yeah.
So that division. Now proceed about the stadium.
No, but it's a unique stadium. It's the only stadium that shoots a cannon out. Shoots a cannon from because it's a pirate ship. In the end zone, it's a pirate ship. Every time they score a touchdown, they shoot the cannon out. I mean, it scares that. If you're not prepared for it, it's gonna scare the heck out of you. But let me tell you something. Those Tampa Bay fans, man, Tom Brady couldn't have went to a better place, man. You talking about rabid fans? They haven't had anything to cheer about lately. But let me tell you something. It's gonna be it's going down there in Tampa. I don't know the name of that county down there. Somebody tell me. But it's going to be going down in that county down there.
You know, speaking of Tampa Bay, back in the days, a lot of people may not be abreast of this, and I share some Tampa Bay Buccaneer news with you guys. Every year, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers used to have their training camp right at the Wide World of Sports in Orlando in the Disney complex. You know that if you ever been to the Milk House, that's where they play AAU Nationals, and that court, there's a field right outside of it, a football field. That's whenever the AAU Nationals would conclude their last championship. I think it would, I don't know what age it would be, maybe 14U or whatever's the last one. Then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers players would be arriving that day before. And they'll be arriving and getting their check-in and getting their equipment. Then they will start practice right out there, training camp. And the training camp was free. And it would, think about it, by being on the Wide World of Sports at that Disney complex, it often attracted dozens and dozens of visiting fans. And so me personally, that's back during the Warren Sapp days. You know, remember when, and it was funny as hell because one time, a true story, Isaiah may have been no older than maybe 7 or 8 years old at that time, and we took him down there, and he got a chance to meet, you know, because the kids can get autographs, and it was one of the linemen from the Buck, because Isaiah was a big fan, you know, and you got to realize, if a kid ever experiences something like going to training camp, you can rest assured that he's going to become a follower, if not a fan of that program, because he's going to see somebody or meet somebody, possibly get an autograph. That means that young man is going to be just going bonkers over that player. Isaiah went up to the guys and he got an autograph. I can't remember what player this was. And he asked this player, the little player said, "Hey, what's going on, little man?" Or something like that. And Isaiah looked up at him and say, "Man, why y'all, he asked the guy, why you let the guy beat you on the silver?" He had been studying this guy and asking why he let a guy beat him around the play, you know, the last season, how they lose. And the guy sit there and talk football with Isaiah for about 20 seconds, but it was unique. But that was the thing I wanted. But since then, Tampa Bay has built their own facility, their own practice facility maybe a decade ago. But that was some fun times back
Good.
then. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Great story. And Jimmy, now I'm bringing up. I got it up. I sent it to you. But on Friday, I mean on Thursday, we get our analytics and talk about, and it'll tell us how many comments that our chatterers, they call it the top chatterers, the people that chat the most and make the most comments on the Facebook feed. And on this Thursday, Michael Jordan won. He had 39. These next two guys, they're disqualified. Jimmy and Robert. Jimmy, me and you made a lot of comments the other day. You and I, you had 28, and I had 27. It had never happened like that. Craig Anthony Mora had 25. He was second place. Alfio Vize had 24. He was third place. And Sonia Billingsley, a woman, had fourth place. I appreciate y'all for being active on the feed. It just give us so much. We feed off of that. And Jim, I think that was a good thing. So Michael Jordan won the big prize that day. So where else we going today?
Yeah, I mean, and speaking of, you mentioned Craig Morrow.
Yeah,
we want to extend our prayers out to head coach Craig Morrow, Houston Madison High School. He underwent surgery this morning. He probably recovering from surgery this morning from cancer-related issues. So, symptoms,
wow,
so to speak. Wow. So hopefully everything went right, and there's no. It gets a thumbs up. Yeah. There's not. They didn't find anything They didn't find anything in the surgery. Hopefully, and so Coach Morrow, you guys make sure you send him a lot of tagging. I think it's Craig Anthony Morrow. I think it's his Facebook tag. And that way, when he gets back on social media, and it'll automatically alert him, and then he'll go back and see some of the well wishes from you guys. But and I mentioned him in the VIP news this morning on RCS Sports, Coach Morrow, and he's not the only head coach from around Houston who's been having battles and going to win the fight against cancer this season. Coach Mouton, Kevin Mouton, over at Second Baptist. Okay. Remember, guys, he had the battle last year, which that battle, man. I mean, it was strenuous because of the fact that only a year before then, Coach Mouton had to be on the other side of the fence, not necessarily cancer, but his wife was really ill. And so he had to be the de facto, of course, and continue the primary caretaker for his wife. She's recovered fully, and she's took care of him, and he beat cancer. He let me know a few weeks ago, he's totally cancer free as it stands, and that's for Coach Morrow. So shout out to Coach Mouton, and we hope Coach Morrow gets right. And get through this surgery. So now let's get back to some football. Some of the questions that we got on the Facebook feed
the Carolina Panthers also signed the Houston Roughnecks quarterback, Jimmy. That dude was 5-0 with balling. PJ
so
Walker.
They done took him away from the Roughnecks already?
Yeah, the Roughnecks ain't gonna have no season. The Roughnecks done, Jimmy.
They really done that.
Yeah.
Good gracious. I mean, and guess what? Know what it does? It proves that the league works. See, that's what didn't happen with the NBA. When the NBA first started the CBA, right? They didn't sign a lot of those guys in unison that fast. It stayed as a minor league and it was like
with the CBA. The CBA, yeah.
When they first started, they didn't just immediately.
When they first started,
fail. Okay. You see? Yeah. So this league just started. So that means there are guys.
Ain't but one guy now.
Yeah, but still, that means it's promise. Hell, it's promise. That means the NFL isn't ignoring the league because they could have easily, think about it. They could have, and they've done it before. Think about it. They've done it to players, not signed them before. We're not even, and exclude Kaepernick from this. I'm talking about players who had not even did anything near the magnitude. They've done it before. We had arena leagues before, several
Oh yeah,
arena leagues.
yeah.
Those guys weren't in abundance getting signed.
And these guys here not gonna be in abundance getting signed either, Jimmy. Don't let that dude there was 5-0 and was the starter league. So they just got a little free agent deal.
Well, you know what I think is different about this league? There are so many guys in this league as opposed to other leagues and those other secondary leagues of such that are only like a year or so removed from their NBA careers.
You mean
there are
NFL?
About a dozen. I mean NFL careers. There are about a dozen of those guys in this league in that XFL. So that's what I think is the difference, because that means now you're not talking about a guy who's 4 years out, 5 years out, 30 years, trying to make a guy that never had a chance. So there are a lot of guys in there that are still right there chomping at the bit, and they're using this as a crutch. So we'll see if anybody else can convert that XFL contract over to an NFL contract.
Yeah, let's wait on. Hey, but it's good that this young man, got a shot. African American quarterback going to back up another African American quarterback. Hey, I'm gonna always look at that, Jimmy. I'm always look at that. But Jimmy, I'm glad we're on this. I'm glad we're on this subject. I was thinking about. I was watching the news last night, and Chance Allen was on the news. You remember Chance Allen? Played at Oregon. Then he came back and played at U of H. Number 21, the wide receiver. Did well for U of H. Went to Applewhite. He went to a bowl game and got suspended from the bowl game. He couldn't play in the bowl game because he got suspended. Missed curfew. But they had a little, he trying to get back in the league. Trying to get back, just get a shot. He hadn't been in the league, but trying to get a shot in any of the leagues. They had a great, great special on him. But Jimmy, it was so unique because I just did a little homework on him. You got to realize he was one of the kids, started out on my little Jaguar team where my son started out long time ago. Clyde Jackson was over the team. Deshaun Robinson dad, James Robinson, was coaching the team. You remember we had the team with J. Mike and all that little Jaguar organization. Chance was on our team. And I watched him and Braylon Addison. They grew up and went off to Oregon. But Jimmy, guess what I found out about Major Applewhite in that curfew? He missed curfew, snuck out the room. Okay, Chance was wrong. Let me get it, because I know we got some kids on here today. Chance was flat out wrong. But what Major Applewhite did as the coach, he had him in front of the team. He made him apologize in front of the team. Okay. Then Jimmy, he made him. He said, "Okay, I'm gonna leave it up to the team." So the team voted him on the team. Yes, we want him to play. Then he took Greg Ward, was the captain and the defensive captain. He took the captains aside. Guess what the captain said? Yes, we want him to play. So everybody agreed for him to play, and Major Applewhite still wouldn't let the kid play. Why go through all of that charade, Jimmy, and still don't let the kid play? So I was just thinking about that. When I saw the special last night, and a lot of people are not privy to that information. Matter of fact, I just got that information this morning. And unique situation about football. Football is something. And Jimmy, when you're a bubble guy, remember this, young men and women. When you are a bubble person, when you're not the star, guess what happens? They'll use those kind of things to eliminate what you said, Jimmy. Don't give them excuse. Don't give them an excuse. You follow me? If you're on the bubble, these are the kind of things that creep up. That's why we tell you to clean up your social media page and clean up. Don't have highlights talking about I'm finna go and do whatever you're gonna do. You follow me on your videos. So I just thought I'd add that, Jimmy, and see what else going on. Something I didn't know.
Yeah, shout out to Michael Smith of Robert Horry Sports Medicine and Rehab.
What up, Mike?
And in conjunction with St. Joseph's Hospital, live on the Chop Shop with us. And also one of the questions somebody asked earlier is that who do I think that San Diego? Who do we think San Diego and New England will have at quarterback? Well, New England has already solved their quarterback, sort of. They put a Band-Aid on
Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, and brought Brian. Understand? Brian Hoyer played last season. He was with the Colts, guys. We don't remember. He's that guy. Now, mind you,
he was with the Rock. He was with the Texans too before.
They beat the Texans. Mm-hmm. I think once or twice this last year. I don't remember. I know one for sure. Now, this dude is one of the few quarterbacks in the league that started that had more interceptions than touchdowns. And so you're replacing Tom Brady with Hoyer.
Jimmy, no. Stedham is going to be the starter. Jarrett Stidham. That's the starter.
I heard they're going to battle a little bit for it. I heard it's going to be.
See, what happened, Hoyer already noticed. You notice Bill Belichick when he got somebody who already knows what? The system. Hoyer, he could have got Andy Dalton is on the block. He could have got a better quarterback, but he went and got a guy that know. You got to understand, Brian Hoyer is the consummate backup. Ain't gonna kill nothing and ain't gonna let nothing die. Jimmy, I mean, he one of them kind of guy. Great locker room guy. And that's what people don't understand. He wanted him and this other quarterback, I can't think of his name, and Chase McDaniel is one. Chase McDaniel. Y'all probably don't even know who he is. Jimmy. He wanted the well-paid, I think he'd have made over $60 million. Just being a backup quarterback over his career. And a lot of people on this feed probably don't know who the hell he is. So it's a unique situation, man, for a New England. But guess what, Jimmy? Jimmy, I'm off that. Jimmy, you know, I'm off New England. You remember I was in there, Jimmy.
You can't, no. You can't possibly, you're not allowed to get off at least into 3 games in. If you're a fan of the program.
Jim, you remember, I'm not a fan. I like certain.
A follower of the program, you can't jump off until 3 games in. That's your free agency. Your free agency as a follower doesn't start to 3 games in. So you're stuck with them right now. You're stuck.
You remember Bob Kraft? Bob Kraft didn't have me in the skybox. Jimmy, Bob Kraft didn't give me no tickets to the game.
Bob Kraft helped free Meek Mill. So
okay, but Jimmy, I like Tom Brady. So guess what? I might get me some Tampa Bay stuff around here. If y'all see me some Tampa Bay, don't be mad at me.
Let me tell you what I think. What I'm thinking about this. Is it possible? Understand that the New England Patriots could very well get a pass this year? Is it possible? Because if they lose, if they miss the playoffs, you say we all would know why, because Tom Brady has been anointed already. So if you miss the playoffs and you don't think about it, you don't sign a proven quarterback this year, it's on purpose because they know what's at stake next year. Yeah. That's why the water is starting to bubble for Deshaun Watson as a possibility.
You know what I call it? Tanking for Trevor too. Tanking for Trevor.
And Sunshine. Yeah. And Sunshine. Mm-hmm. Sunshine is probably going to be the first quarterback taken in the draft. He fits the entire bill. Don't forget, guys, a lot of times, sometimes we just forget. They call it New England. We know what city that is. That's Boston. And Boston is what I call the white Atlanta. If you're a young person, for anybody under 30.
Yeah.
If you're going to college.
Yeah.
If you put it like this, if you're African American and you go to college anywhere in Atlanta, that experience, before you even get there, everybody in your family will say, oh boy, Jimmy, it's going to be popping.
Jimmy, hold up. They got a lot of black people up there, but they sectioned in a section. They got a lot of people, but you're right. That's the
white Atlanta for college students. For college.
Okay, I like it. Hey, Northeastern, MIT, Harvard, all of these colleges are there. Yeah.
Hell, UConn is 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
Hartford, all those schools around. They have, I mean, just count them up.
Yeah.
And so just imagine, think about it. So the sports life, you got the Red Sox.
Yes.
You got the Bruins, the hockey team. You have the
Celtics.
You got the Patriots. You got the Celtics.
Yeah.
I mean, and guess what? In the city, don't get it twisted now. The way that it's right there sitting on a little lake, a little bay, I mean, Boston, all right. Now Atlanta is all right. You know, but at the same, and guess what? That doesn't mean that somebody white can't go to Atlanta and have no fun, have a bunch of fun. White folks have fun all the time in Atlanta.
Yes.
Just like black folks go to Boston and have fun all the time.
I did.
And so, so Deshaun Watson, think about it now.
That's not gonna happen, man. I don't think.
Well, and I think it depends, because even it depends on the structure, how his contract is structured, that he's expected to sign or be offered and signed before the end of this calendar year. Not this football season. He's expected to sign this year with the Texans.
But Jimmy, they wouldn't sign him and trade him. This ain't like a basketball. They're gonna allow the other team. If they're gonna let him go, they can let him go.
So do we even sign?
Well, they gonna have his rights because they can franchise it or they can exclusive franchise it. It's just we don't know because we don't know. You know why? Because they got a dang fool over there, Jimmy, that happened to be the GM, the coach, and the de facto owner. You remember I told you he must have some dirty pictures on the McNair family. Because I just don't understand how Bill O'Brien is still. I mean, you know, I just don't understand it. I've never seen nothing like this in all of my years of sports. Never seen. I
got another question. Speaking of Deshaun Watson, this is really, really important. It's signing because you know the market for the quarterback dollar is going to increase. And everybody's watching and waiting on Pat Mahomes, right? Right? So do you think that what Tom Brady just did with his contract, do you think that would become a new norm for quarterbacks?
What was so odd about his contract?
He put a clause in there that they can't tag him. And you can explain what that means.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
What that mean? What does that mean?
A tag, a franchise tag means franchise. That's you, my franchise player. Okay? I don't want you to go nowhere. I'm the owner. This is for the owner. You're my franchise player. I don't want you to leave my franchise. So what I have to do to you, if I franchise you, that means I have to pay you the average of the top 5 people at your position for 1 year. Okay? And I can franchise you as many times as one to like Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins was getting franchised by Washington. He was getting 28 million, 30, So it's whatever the average of the top, but it's just for 1 year. And players want what? Multiple years because they want more money guaranteed. So whatever that average is for that 1 year only. That's why the players don't want it, because they don't have security. They just get money for that 1 year. And always remember, in football, you got a great propensity to get injured. Anytime you're in football, that's why they always want. You remember I told you about when you see all them $100 million deals, they ain't getting them 100 millions. They're only gonna get them players. Going to get what their signing bonus, what their guaranteed money. That money that they put on the back end and make it $100 million. You remember like they did Todd Gurley and gave him all that money on the back end? And guess what, Jimmy? They cut him the other day. Cut Todd Gurley the other day because they didn't want to pay him $10 million one-time check for that. That was guaranteed money, Jimmy. But it wasn't guaranteed because what? They cut him. So always remember, when y'all hear them players going and holding out in football, pray for them and support them, because that's their only recourse. They put those franchise tags in there to keep their star players with the program. So Jimmy, what Tom Brady had to leverage. He a 6-time champion. Listen to me. Everybody can't say that. Everybody can't come in and talk about I'm whole franchise. Deshaun Watson ain't got that kind of clout yet, Jimmy. He ain't won. You got to do what I say. See, Tom Brady was what? A free agent. He was free to do whatever.
I understand that, but still asking, requesting, and getting receiving.
Jimmy, the man is 100 years old. Why? The man is 100 years old. Let me tell you what he was doing. All he was saying, telling us when he got that is, guess what? I might play more after my 2 years over. Anytime you put something in there like that, that means after my 2 years over, you can't franchise me. In other words, I'll be able to go do whatever the hell. I don't want you to lock. But Tom Brady got that cachet, Jimmy. Everybody can't ask for that. This man that went to 9 Super Bowls and won 6. You got what? They call that leverage. If you don't have leverage, you won't get that deal. That's not an easy deal to get. That's not every quarterback gonna ask for.
Exactly, but Deshaun Watson
he ain't got cachet, Jim. He ain't won nothing.
Yeah, but with the Houston Texans,
they can franchise him, Jim. You talking about his next deal when he enter his contract? His next deal he get, he gonna be wanting other things. Cause guess what? Guess what they gonna ask him? Okay, if you want this, always remember when you get something, you got to give something. In negotiation, oh, you want this? Well, then you got to give us this. We got to take back this. You want this? We're going to take back this. We're going to see, always remember negotiation. It ain't just what I want. It's what you can negotiate. So I don't think that's going to be the norm. I don't think Deshaun Watson have that kind of leverage. All I want out of Deshaun Watson to make sure this next deal get him as much, Jimmy, remember this, as much upfront money like Russell Wilson can dance to the bank with that $70 million in the bank. Him and Sierra. Oh, thank God, Sierra. Him and Sierra can have generational wealth. That's the key thing. But I understand how you're bringing it up, but you got to understand the parameters.
Speaking of Deshaun Watson, did you guys see what he posted today?
Somebody just told me to look at it.
I'm going to quote it. I don't know how I'm going to make it out of here.
Clean.
Can't even keep track of who plays for the other team. Iconic duos rip and split at the seams.
Jimmy, that's a rap.
From Drake. A song called Emotionless. So understand something. Deshaun Watson, if you go look down his Twitter line, he's not a tweeter every day.
No.
So for him to say this today has a meaning. Remember, the rumors about the New England Patriots was started about 4 days ago because there's a gambling website, Adam, and people are laying money on it. And it's like 300 to 1. So it's a decent line, decent spread that is, for which quarterback will be the Patriots starting quarterback in 2021. So it's, of course, Deshaun Watson and Sunshine, Trevor Lawrence from Clemson are the two players which is receiving the most money laid on them right now. For gambling, if you think for a minute that the gambling industry don't have inside lanes on the track, then you are really fooling yourself. Understand this. So if there's a spread on this already, that means that somebody has not ruled out the possibility and it could happen. That don't mean it won't happen or it will. But what I'm saying is there's a spread already on this. And people are laying money on this, not just for a novelty. So keep your eyes on it. So then 4 days later, Deshaun Watson puts this tweet out. And understand, we're talking about a guy, Deshaun Watson, who has approximately 1.5 million followers. So this is what went out today. And speaking of that, his fiance.
They ain't no fiance. It's girlfriend.
What the hell you got to do to be called a fiance? What?
You got to have a ring, Jimmy.
Oh, to be a fiance?
Yes. You just can't say nobody. Well, you can say anything you want to these days, but no, that's his girlfriend, Jimmy. They just been dating for months. Come on, man.
It don't take these people long right now.
Yes, it do.
All you got to do is start taking them tablets and it's on. Put them tablets down. On. I'm talking about, shoot.
Hey, let's move along, man. Let's move along, man. Something wrong with you, dude.
But she have more followers than he do.
Of course.
That's my point I mentioned up.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
But what's her handle? So
I'm not telling you nothing. I'm not calling out. I'm not in that.
I talked to her dad last week. So I'm saying, I mean, and man, I'm telling you guys, do your homework on that. Great family. Now, moving on the Boom Boom Room. Shout out to Stacey Houston. I see him up there in DFW joining us on here. And
yeah, they on lockdown, Jimmy.
Dallas is now?
Yeah.
DFW?
Yeah.
Well, and of course it said, yes, only allowed to go to work, hospitals and grocery stores, malls, convenience stores, all closed until April the 3rd. Now, I know one thing. There's a store probably somewhere in Oak Cliff that everybody in the hood know they can still go to and get something. That's one thing about urban. I guarantee you there's a store somewhere in Oak Cliff in Dallas. Let Houston get on lockdown, which you see the mayor, the governor said that he stopped short yesterday in Texas of this morning of making a statewide stay-at-home mandate. And this falls in order. You see, I don't know if you guys paying attention to what's going on in Houston, but the mayor of Houston has been vigorously pushing back on the rumor that people had been spreading that Houston was going to shut down, so to speak. And he said it. Remember, I got a call from them last week, and one of the reps that called me from his office had explained to me, because I was asking questions, asking me questions. I'm asking them questions. But I wasn't defensive. I was trying to get some intel to learn. That way I can pass along. And they assured me that in the next couple of days or two, that a lot of modifications to the rules would be in place, which they told me the truth. Because that same day that we canceled last Monday for the spring icebreaker, a week ago today, they made an announcement that what was it? The restaurants, right, were being modified. They made announcements about the gatherings had been shrunken down to 10. And before then, it was 250, then 50, then to 10. All that happened then. And so, I'm gonna call him back again tomorrow.
Hey man, Jim, my barber wrong for this, man. He looking at the show, right? Guess what he tell me? Man, damn, you need a haircut. Hey man, I'm over here. Look, it's all right. I'm gonna have a cap on tomorrow.
Say,
y'all to mess with me. I'm gonna have a cap on tomorrow.
A lot of barbers is hurting during this.
Of course, Jimmy. Everybody hurting, Jimmy. The airline industry hurting, Jimmy. I should have took a list of the things I was thinking about. Jimmy, it's a man, y'all. Now I saw the nail shop open, Jimmy. I said, y'all got to be at y'all rabbit mind to be opening this nail shop out here. So I mean, it's hey, if y'all remember a couple weeks ago, Polo Robert Hatter came on this show and just said, I'm gonna do my part. I didn't try to force nobody. I know Jimmy he said, man, until the government. But see, what I did, I'm blessed enough to have friends that live in Italy. And I should have read y'all that email, and I never did because I don't think y'all kind of took it serious. And he said, Robert, if y'all don't stop, this gonna happen to y'all over there. And if y'all just don't change, he said, Robert, all you got to do for a little while, just stay away from people. Because the only way this virus can transmit is from person to person. So just keep your. But over in Italy, like I explained the other day, if you wasn't on the air, that's an affectionate society over there. Everybody, even the men, hug and kiss. You know, the Italians, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, Jimmy, you know how, oh my God. So they said that's why it spread so much. Over here, not so much. We just got people just saying, man, I'm going to do what I want to until the government shut me down. And that's just the way it is. Nothing against them. I'm not shaming nobody. I understand y'all. If y'all had got that letter that I got, then you would understand how I felt about it. I'm sitting there reading the letter, but it was so long of a letter, I didn't want to read it out on the show. And maybe, Jimmy, see, the next time I have something like that, I'm just going to have a special, I'm going to record it by myself, and then I'm just going to put it on social media. I don't really like to do that because I like to have Jimmy on the air with me, but, you know, but it was so important because it was a plea. He said, man, y'all are 2 weeks behind us. And look at us now. So I just thought I'd share that a little bit. Hey, y'all, we still got time. We still got time to change this thing. Just stay in the house. It's hard for me too. Jimmy, I rode the bike yesterday on your homeboy.
Man, let me tell you, I'm eating homemade French fries straight out the potato bag, like back in the old cafes. That's what I'm.
I had some last night too.
Red snapper last night, jumbo shrimp the day before that, and went through 2 bags of potatoes. I'm
impressed. Hey, peel the big red tomato, the red potatoes.
What color? I had the brown.
Yeah, the brown was okay. I had the red ones. I
get the red ones. I get a bag of red next time.
Yeah.
But they don't even sell the red ones in the bag. They got them little bitty red ones. We got to get them big ones. That way we cut them.
And Jimmy, before we go anywhere, Jimmy, I've been waiting for months for The Banker to come out. I had it in my notes to talk about it months ago, but Apple didn't release it. It was supposed to be released in The Banker. It's a movie with Samuel L. Jackson and Anthony Mackie in it. Jimmy, I watched it over the weekend. I also watched Madam C.J. Walker. But Jimmy, this Banker, unbelievable movie. And I just want to know, did anybody see that movie? Jimmy, the reason, I'm going to show you why this movie is so important. It's just not no regular movie. Jimmy, I'm going to show you the scheme. Jimmy, this was the plot. 2 African-American businessmen, okay, were in L.A., and they couldn't, and Jimmy, one of the guys had hard time trying to get a loan. He was a real estate agent. Had a hard time trying to get a loan from the white banks. Jimmy, I didn't know black people couldn't even really come in the bank back then. No, Chris Charles, it ain't on no Netflix. It's on Apple, baby. Apple, this Jimmy, this is Apple's first theatrical release. You know, like their original. It's their first ever original release on Apple TV. But Jimmy, it's Samuel L. Jackson. He's executive producer in the movie. Jimmy, guess who else is a producer in the movie? Nnamdi Asomugha. You remember who married to Kerry Jackson, the former football player. He's a producer in the film. He's also an actor, but he's not in this movie. But Jimmy, I think the film, Jimmy, it was Jimmy. Let me finish. Jimmy, you kind of familiar with what I'm talking about? Or you probably putting it up. Ladies and gentlemen, I want all of y'all to watch this movie if you got Apple. And tomorrow, over the next few days, we got to talk about this movie because it's an angle, Jimmy. It's an angle that we and all of us, I'm going to put it like this. I'm going to give you a hint. Black people couldn't come in the banks. So these black dudes, Jimmy, went and bought the building that the banks were in. Let me repeat that. The banks wouldn't lend him no money. Jimmy, he went and bought the bank building, the tallest bank building in downtown Los Angeles, to black people. But guess what, Jimmy? They had to have a front man, just a little young guy, white guy, to be the front man for them. Because they wasn't going to sell that building to a black person. They taught the dude how to play golf. They taught the white guy how to do this. They taught Samuel Jackson played one of the, Joe Morris, one of the greatest characters. And Jimmy, it was a low budget movie. Wasn't but $20 million in this movie. So I know, and I was saying, Sam Jackson, I know what he demands for an Avenger. And Anthony Mackie for Captain America. And they did this movie. This is one, hey, y'all, remember I told you this is going to be one of the most important. I wish Jimmy Hicks, I'm going to put it like this. I wish if I was a young man, 13, 14 years old, I wish I'd have saw this movie then. I wish I'd have saw this movie then. It's the bank. Jim, it's unbelievable. But Jimmy, these guys wind up going to jail. Okay? But their efforts promoted the Fair Housing Act in 1968, where you couldn't discriminate with the redlining. And y'all, and please look up red line. Jimmy, it was actually places, the red line, I got to tell y'all this, because I mentioned it on the show, it was actually maps around the city with a red line on it saying blacks can't stay in here. So that means this property within the red line, that property was going to be valued more. So their family is going to be more wealthy if something happened to they died. Ours were in the blacks part, where the values of the property don't go up as much. Jimmy, if we don't have access to capital, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I love about this movie. He tried to get, he had a quest for gaining access to capital. Jimmy, a guy tried to, his wife's uncle tried to go get him a job. He said, man, when he first moved out there, from Willis, Texas, Jimmy. He from Willis, Texas. He said, I didn't come out here to get no job. Man, I came out here to be a real estate agent. I came out here to be a real estate broker. Jimmy, they had 172 buildings they had bought back in the 60s. 172. Great movie. If you hear it in my voice, so much passion about this movie. I want everybody to go watch it. Get Apple TV. What they've been saying on the feed, Jimmy. I just want, great movie though. What you got?
Yeah, man, absolutely. And I'm gonna get a chance to go and check it out.
Okay.
And check that out. That series.
No, just one movie. Ain't no series.
I've been binging, and guess what? If you have Direct TV, well, you gotta realize, me personally, I don't subscribe to none of the movie channels because of the Netflix and the Hulu and Amazon Prime that's available. I don't. So
Jimmy, let me address this. Let me address this, because Mindy said she gonna check it out. Michael said, why did they go to jail? Michael, that's a hell of a plot twist. But let me tell you what happened. First of all, they were all right, Jimmy, in California.
So you gonna tell the movie before we watch?
No. But no. This. Oh, Jimmy, it's in Jet. Go. All you got to do is go to Jet magazine. It's in Jet.
Man, I ain't read Jet magazine since I shined shoes.
Guess what?
Jimmy,
in my research, I went and read the Jet article about it. The movie is so good, you ain't got to worry about it. I tell you what, Jimmy Wright, Mike, you got to see the movie. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you. Because I like for people to tell me the plot, but some people don't want me to. Go read up on it yourself. What else you got? I'm sorry.
Exactly. That you got to be consistent. That don't give it up. And there's a lot of them out there. But Showtime, Direct TV is giving a free sneak peek of all the Showtime channels for a couple of weeks. So, I got a chance to watch a couple movies on there. I've been spreading the wealth. And one thing about it, listen.
You've been spreading the wealth, Jimmy. You know you've been getting to Jimmy, you got that thing. You ain't been spreading no wealth.
No, I ain't got. I don't use a stick no more. I can get a stick. Sticks. I can go walk 2 blocks and get a stick right down the corner. But I don't use a 5 stick. It just take too long. When I'm trying to watch something, I'm trying to watch it right then. I don't have time for it to load up. I got too much. So but now back to some sports. Give you guys. How about this? You remember the problem between well, one more last piece of NFL news.
Okay.
Before we get to some basketball.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL draft is not officially canceled, or is it postponed? The NFL is considering doing a virtual broadcast, since a lot of they have a travel ban on all 32 NFL teams. So there's no way that they can get those teams in the same place. So they may have a virtual broadcast, which would basically cut into and splice into each team's war room and can interview the various players. But they would have to really know who's getting drafted and where to have their cameras. And, or they probably have people on standby waiting on their Skype. They can do it. They can do it. I just thought about it. But that's going to be, in other words, the Las Vegas concept has been scrapped. But the draft is not. It's still going to go on. And this thing they had in Vegas was going to be at the Bellagio. That's my spot. They'll have it.
I know that's your spot. Yeah.
And they had the little lake in front of Bellagio where they do all the explosions and the fireworks every evening.
The waterfall. It's famous all over the world for the waterfall.
Show.
Yeah.
That each player was going to roll out in a boat. Each draft pick was going to come out in a little boat.
Oh, yeah.
And they would come on out there.
Yeah.
And so it was, understand, they were attempting to revolutionize this whole thing. But it's maybe 2021, but it's not going to take place like that. So I want to give you guys that for NFL draft and the NBA draft now. It's almost guaranteed to not take place when it's supposed to in June.
Right.
It's almost guaranteed. It's just a matter of time when they make the official announcement, because understand something. That's not even on the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth order of business for the NBA right now.
NBA,
so that's why,
NBA, Jimmy, they're having meetings every day. NBA is just something I can't share right now, but I'm gonna share it when I can share it with you. Yeah, the NBA really wants y'all to stay in the house and practice social distance. I'm telling you, they really need this thing to curb. I mean, Jimmy, think about it. Think about Matt Bullard, all the guys who are the announcers. Jimmy, they not getting paid. Think about Chris Walker. Chris Walker had him a nice little gig.
He still got the gig.
But Jimmy,
there's no more games to call.
Yeah, Jimmy, and so I think one team has already stepped out and said they're going to pay their local broadcasters, their freelance broadcasters, their money. They're going to pay them for the rest of the season.
Well, the good thing about like a lot of those guys, a lot of them, not all, but a lot of the college broadcasters, the color commentators, put it like that. A lot of the guys who do the color, not the actual broadcast, but the color commentators. Most of those guys are former players, former coaches. They're not in the same degree of economic hurt or dire that common folk are.
They're not living check to check.
Most of them
are not.
So now,
but we don't know. I don't know nobody else.
Most of them are not. There's room for one that is okay.
Yeah.
Now, also, last football piece. Did you see what Tony Dungy and I mean, I always loved Tony Dungy, and I never understood why he hadn't been hired. I mean, why?
Jimmy, I don't think he wanted to, Jimmy, because there was stress on him. He was sick. There was a lot of stress on him.
Tony Dungy is awesome, man. And I'm gonna
Class
tell you,
personified.
the other day, Dungy, right, went and broke down because they were talking about, of course, the Jameis Winston, King Crab Leg.
Mm-hmm.
We always joke about it.
You know.
And since the Crab Leg incident, because he had incident after incident, he was no choir boy in Florida State. And coming into the league, got a chance to work. His first NFL gig happens to be inside of the state, for which he galvanized while taking Florida State to revisit old heights of that in that football, back in the Bobby Bowden days.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how about this? Did you guys know? Check this out. This is what this according to Dungy, which he provided facts. But you can take them how you want. It's not comparing the legacy of Peyton Manning to Jameis Winston. He comparing the first 5 years.
I got something for you. Keep going. Glad you came there.
First 5 years, Peyton Manning had 80 starts, right? He had a 62% completion rate. He had 20,600 yards passing, 138 touchdowns, and 100 interceptions.
This Peyton Manning.
This Peyton Manning in his first five seasons.
Okay.
Now, mind you, Peyton Manning had a winning record after his first 5 seasons.
Okay.
And James Winston don't.
Okay.
He only won like 20.
And winning matters, but keep going.
And Peyton Manning won like 42. Mind you.
I got a question. I'm going to help you out, Jimmy. You remember your old adage, point guards are known for their wins? Quarterbacks also.
Too.
Okay.
Yes. But understand, this is year 6.
Yeah. I'm just
Peyton Manning quarterback for how many years?
Yeah. No, but
we're talking about year 6.
I'm just giving you context.
And so let me give you the comparison, and I'll revisit these numbers as I compare James Winston's first 5 years. Peyton Manning had 80 starts. James Winston had 70. But now, mind you, there are some games that Winston played in that he did not start. But we're just giving these starts.
Okay.
And if you want to take Jameis Winston's 80 game plateau, right?
Okay.
His 8 game mark, right?
I thought he had, okay, I got you.
70, which he started, but he played in 80.
Okay.
I'm saying another 8 more that he didn't start.
Okay.
So we add them into it to make the 80s even.
Okay.
You follow me?
All right.
So the yards completed, right? For Peyton Manning, I said it was 20,600. The yards completed for King Crab Leg, 21,900. The touchdowns for Peyton Manning, 138. The touchdowns for Crab Leg, 134. The interceptions, I love this category because this is the heat that James Winston has received, and he's definitely not immune to blame because that's on him, on abundance of interceptions, especially this year when he led the league in passing, led them in touchdowns, and led them in interceptions. That reminds you back when Allen Iverson led the league in scoring and turnovers in the same season, back when he was in his second year in the league, something like that. Well, here's the deal. Peyton Manning had 100 interceptions. Winston has 98. So Peyton Manning had more interceptions. And this young man did. This young man had more, understand, he had more interceptions than this young man. But, so you don't take this stat and run with it. It's the winning. Peyton Manning won 42 games. This young man has won only 28 in his 7th start. Now, what you had?
Jimmy, this young man, I forgot his last name is Acho. He's on, sometime he's on Get Up in the Morning. I want y'all to hear. I had this already queued up last week for y'all to hear, and I never got a chance to play it. But check this out, y'all, and listen carefully. Check this out.
Don't you dare mention Jameis Winston's 30 interceptions without mentioning the fact that he led the NFL in completions of 10 yards, 20 yards, and 30 yards. Since this young man stepped into the NFL, second in yards per completion behind only Patrick Mahomes. It's 3rd and 17 against the Tennessee Titans. Titans are in a loose cover 2. Their safeties are so high, they're off the screen. Advantage defense. Not if you're going up against Jameis Winston. He knows the rush is coming because it's 3rd and 17. He steps up, glides to his right, delivers a strike perfectly down the field where only Mike Evans can catch it. He catches it on top of the defender's head. Now, 3 plays later, you're going to see the Titans in an all-out blitz look. 4 defensive linemen, they're rushing, plus the 2 inside backers. They're blitzing as well. Well, 6 blitzers, 5 linemen, that means Jameis Winston, he has to beat the unaccounted for rusher, which is Cameron Wait. He scrambles right again, delivers a strike to Mike Evans. But the prettiest play of the game, it came on Jameis Winston's first possession after halftime. He's going to run a simple play action. Not a big deal, but watch as he steps at the 35-yard line. See how far he delivers this football. 50 yards in the air. Perfect ball. Great throw, great catch, beats great coverage every single time. And that's my dog, Kenny Vaccaro, in great coverage. You think Jameis Winston doesn't know he turns the ball over too much? You're wrong.
Because I know I eliminate those, I'm going to be the best. So that's bar none. You better check your sheet.
So if Jameis Winston does eliminate those turnovers and gets a coach that believes in him, the only thing you're going to hear after Jameis is he wins tons.
Jimmy, I had that queued up a couple, might be a week ago, because I saw how they was trying to, malign the kid, calling him a bust, calling him Jamarcus Russell, Tim Couch, Ryan Lee. He's no bust, Jimmy. He was offensive rookie of the year. He was a Pro Bowler. And the 2019, last year, because you like stats, Jimmy, he was the passing yards leader. It might not have worked out for him in Tampa, but guess what? But his disrespect is so uncalled for. I just don't like the way other people are handling him, and I'm glad you mentioned it. So I'm glad. I'm just glad you was there.
No, just pay. All you do is just pay attention, and you will realize this young man is still without a job right now. Right?
Cameron Newton.
Cam Newton is still without a job right now. The New England Patriots rather winning, they just showed you. They rather win and go and get Brian Hoyer and give him, a guy who had more interceptions than touchdowns. So you want to laugh at King Crableg? He had more.
Yeah, he got the complexion for protection for collection.
I understand. Just pay attention and look at these two guys. Remember, the Chargers are still open. Washington Redskins.
No, they're not really open.
They're not open, but they got some new stuff, and the coach from Carolina is at Washington right now.
But guess what? The owner loves Dwayne Haskins. The reason Riverboat Sam got that job because he told him that I can make Haskins a star. So always remember that now. See, you got to sometimes connect these dots. But Jimmy, you mentioned Tony Dungy, and I just wanted a great author. He got a book out called Uncommon. I would just love all the black males to read that book. It's called Uncommon. Tony Dungy. He also got a book out called Quiet Strength, Uncommon Marriage, The Mentor Leader, The Soul of a Team. He got a children's book called You Can Do It. I mean, he's just powerful, man. And I'm glad you mentioned him, Jimmy. Thank you, because he's one of my favorite guys in sports. And guess what? Guess what position he used to play? He used to be a quarterback, Jimmy, in college. They wouldn't and let him play it, so he turned into a defensive back when he got to the pros. So he understands the plight of this guy.
And so that's pretty much wrap up our gave you a whole hour of NFL today.
Wow.
And that's probably a record for the Chop Shop. And so now as we slide on into some hoops, NBA news, of course. You guys remember the spat that's been going on between Charles Oakley and Bob and New York Knicks owner Dolan?
Yeah.
Well, they went to over the other day. This is true. The U.S. Court of Appeals, right? the Second Circuit, has ordered them to solve their dispute via telephone on March the 31st. Once again,
Jim, I think that's uncalled for. I mean, I think that's unprecedented because Jimmy, they already said that Dolan wasn't guilty. I mean, they dropped the case.
Well, they dropped the lawsuit.
They dropped the lawsuit and said it was frivolous. But why is he ordering them? I haven't read that one, Jim. I'm glad because I like to look a little bit deeper into it instead of the article. I want to know why that's different. That's different. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, so March the 31st, the results of this phone call is probably going to be classic. There's no way those guys will be able to talk. I'm assuming they will have it would be like a conference call. I'm assuming that both will have their attorneys with them, and I'm assuming they'll be on speakerphone, and that's how that dialogue will probably go.
But Jimmy, in private, I heard Dolan is a more cooler guy. Yeah, Dolan is one of them rich guys, Jimmy. You got to realize. You in the stands, you hear somebody say, sell the team, get him out of there. Instead of just saying, man, hey, you done paid to get in here. But Jimmy, think about this. I thought about it last night. Put Spike, gave Spike the problem, trying to put Spike out the building. Now guess what? Can't nobody come in the building. Jimmy, Madison Square Garden is closed. You're trying to put somebody, hey y'all, this coronavirus, y'all just go back and take assessments of your own life, Jimmy. Jimmy, I see how it's certain things in my life I really never really even needed and needed to do. This slowdown is giving me a chance to look into myself. I got more proficient in certain things on my computer. I got some stuff done all over the country. Only thing I hate, I can't fly out because I got some stuff. I got to be there. They waiting on me. But guess what? Everybody is behind. But Jimmy, it's I'm taking a new assessment of my life, and it is better. Hey, so I'm not gonna get uptight about this pandemic. Guess what, Jimmy? What I found out the other day, in oppositions, when you have opposition and stuff like this happens, also comes opportunity. Remember that, y'all. In oppositions, there's opportunity. In setbacks, there's opportunities. Always remember, it's going to be some millionaires and some billionaires come out of, going to figure some stuff out, going to have opportunity. There's opportunities out there, y'all. Open up your eyes and use this time to read. Jim, I had read more than that. Oh, my goodness. So use this time, y'all. So let's get to Jim. Stacey had a great question. You going to answer that question?
Yeah, I told him at 20 minutes. We had 3 minutes to get to Stacey's question. And before we get there, we'll give some more NBA or some more professional basketball news. Mm-hmm. And one, of course, is how about there's one of the coaches, the Japanese league started, has resumed.
Yeah.
There's one of the former players.
But something happened, Jimmy. They had a chaotic restart. Something just happened.
Well, I mean, the chaotic restart was as a result. One of the players is formerly of Arizona State. He's coming back home. Mm-hmm. He didn't like how they didn't have enough provisions in place to prevent the spread of COVID in case it still is existent in one of the players. Okay. And mind you, this same young man, his wife is eight months pregnant. Mm. So it was saying, what if they had a national lockdown, and I mean nobody could leave? He said, "There's no way in hell he was going to be over there and risk the chance of missing being stricken to Japan It's not China, it's Japan, as a result of these scares not being able to be on the alongside of his wife. So they're probably going to void his contract as a violation, of course, him not. And then and also he would be blackballed probably from the league from going to participate. Now there's a lot of leagues around the country that are folding, right? Not folding, but are not paying the players. That's the problem right now. So a lot of those leagues around the country, not everybody, but there's a lot of teams. I'm sorry, a lot of teams that are not going to pay the players.
Right.
One of them, though, that is the one that Tony Parker is the president of. And Tony Parker, they say, has called in the French EuroLeague, right, the ASVEL. He's called every player and assured them they will be getting their money. Now that's big, that's huge. But what you?
I just want to add something, Jimmy. That name Jeff Ayers, does it ring a bell? You know why I don't? I'm finna help you. His name in college was Jeff Pendergraft. That was one of Kool-Aid's guys.
I remember. Yeah, we had him at camp.
Yes, that's one of Kool-Aid's guys. Yeah. We tried to represent him. I knew. I was sitting there saying, I know Jimmy, that's one of Kool-Aid's guys, because I remember you introduced me. That was somebody else introduced me to Kool-Aid. And that's how we was trying to, we went to Arizona State. But I just wanted to let you know that. But it's good. It's all good. It's all good.
And so now, of course, it's 120. Now
but Jimmy, the China League is back up and running. They are just still, some of the guys like Demo Montejunis used to play for the Rockets. He's still in quarantine. He like in his 8th day of quarantine. So he got to be quarantined for 14 days. So
China is starting on April the 15th.
Yeah. Yes.
So Joe Young is there's about 10 former NBA players that are playing in the CBL, in the CBA, that is the Chinese Basketball Association. And I think I know, speaking of former Rockets, a handful of them are formerly Houston Rockets. Jeremy Lin, Ty Lawson. You mentioned the kid you just mentioned a while ago,
Jeff Ayers.
That's all I can think of right now. But it's about 10 of them that played that over there. And Joe Young, of course, we are all behind Joe Young, and he's getting back over there.
Of course.
Getting over there in meantime. Now, let's get into the question. Of course, you said Stacey had a question. Yeah. And you guys have your question. We're going to our mailbag.
Yeah, I wrote it down. I took a picture of it.
Coming up shortly, we're going to talk about the TABC released their all-state teams for the public schools, and we're going to talk about that in a second as well.
Okay.
And how does that reflect on the midst of Houston in the Houston versus DFW rivalry feud, not feud, but the rivalry. Yeah. That's the word for it. As far as the number of selectees.
You ready?
Now, meanwhile, let's what question
he
Stacey
just asked? He said, Mr. Hicks, give me your ideal solution for high school grassroots events, recruiting ideas for the remaining of the 2020 season.
Well, the 2020 season, as we know it hadn't even started yet. That's first for grassroots. So the bell curve is going to be shifted. I'm expecting many events to take place in the month of August that hadn't took place, that previously occupied other months. That's what I'm expecting. And so because a lot of people understand, a lot of people have an option. They can either cancel the event or they can postpone the event. Mind you, let's say, for example, we do know that Adidas was starting off their circuit in Dallas. Well, that circuit in Dallas, that weekend, now there may be another, they're going to push for another weekend to occupy a session, but that one that they were having in Dallas on that weekend, that is canceled. That I don't think, maybe they may have something on the charts. On the docket to come back in there another week. Maybe so. Just like Nike was going into Sacramento. They were invading some new territory for the first time in a long time. The mayor of Sacramento is a former NBA player, Kevin Johnson, from the Phoenix Suns. So he was embracing and welcoming the opportunity for them. And then Nike has a lot of professional players that are on the Sacramento Kings roster who were or are up under their umbrella. So, but back to what I think is happening. One thing I expect August to be occupied by a lot of events. I expect number 2, for as recruiting, a lot of people right now, the unsigned seniors, and a lot of the sympathy is going out towards a lot of the unsigned seniors statewide. And here's my thing, and it's understand something, guys. There's a damn transfer portal out there. Not many unsigned seniors in each city, Houston and greater and DFW. You probably can name maybe three to four max of your unsigned seniors who's actually was going to get a Division I scholarship anyway. And those ones right now probably had offers on the table at one time, and this is the risk versus reward. Now you let that day pass by. The portal is increasing every single day. So if you are a 6'2" guard and you're thinking about this school, that school did not plan that another 6'2" guard who probably was a starter at his college is willing to transfer, who might be from their hometown and want to come back home. They never knew that. Some you can smell it in advance, some you can't. So this is the risk. So now you say, oh man, it was 2020. My point is the majority of the unsigned seniors out there wasn't Division I in the first damn place. So this don't stop the show from them. So now this should be a prime opportunity to get their attention and apply a nice dose of reality and stop ignoring all those non-Division I schools. And ones you did ignore, it's probably coming back to bite some people in the butt from how you ignored the warnings from a lot of people saying, man, don't ignore those guys. We got a Coach Proctor who was on the line, Coach Aaron Proctor. And Coach Proctor, the guy has him, I'm understand, he's keen to think about the different levels he's been at. He's been a high school coach within the past 5 years. High school coach twice. He was at Reagan High School, that's now known as the Heights. He left and went to Kansas State as a grad assistant. Stayed at Kansas State for a couple of years, got another degree out of the deal for free, right? Got that experience in the Big 12 on his resume. Came back, coached at Alvin High School, right? Savion Flagg. So he went through the recruitment of a Power 5 caliber player, right? Then goes back into coaching, took a JUCO job in Arkansas. Now he's in Missouri at another school. So think about all that experience that this man took a leap. Meanwhile, had a family and welcomed a new addition to his family in the process. You're talking about a leap on faith. That guy, those schools don't have the budget to be flying around to kiss the butts. A lot of these kids and families, I just really believe they want to just go through the experience of getting their butt kissed. Or getting the recruiting massage. Make you feel good. Make you, this feels so good. And without intending on sealing the deal, without even doing all the homework. I'm really thinking that the recruiting thing, it has benefited those video guys, those mixtape guys. Now, some of them take a lot of them lyrics off, and sometimes, all you do is play the instrumental. Play the instrumental. But it's a boom for those guys, because now in a very few moments they get a chance to make more mixtapes without having to go and stop and leave in front of their computer and their software.
Jimmy, I got a question for the mixtape guys. Have y'all ever thought about making a defensive highlight mixtape?
If that was a really and truly a serious demand, you see, not saying y'all,
No,
man.
no,
I
no.
don't.
I'm
I
just
don't
talking
make,
about with
but
that player.
supply and
No, no,
demand.
no, 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 no. I ain't talking about to get clicks. I'm talking about have it additional. You know how you just have one in the chamber? And if the coach want to know about the guy's defensive priors, he can just say, okay, and just send that to the coach too. I ain't talking about to be posted to get clicks. I'm just talking about at least the coach know the dude can stay in front of somebody. At least the coach knows somebody can get somebody a 5-second call. I'm just, what if a kid, I know there's a kid in this city that has had several chase down blocks and pinned on the backboard like LeBron James, right? Chase down and pin. And guess what, Jimmy? Nobody knows about it because ain't nobody never put those on the thing. But I thought those were the most impressive plays, some of the most impressive plays the young man ever did. A chase down, hold up, from a guy who they said don't even play defense. But he got about 4 or 5 chased down and pinned on the backboard and grabbed it and took it other way. So that's just me in my thinking. But keep on, carry on.
And once again, supply and demand.
Mm-hmm.
If more coaches truly wanted that, then it would be.
But these guys don't know what the hell coaches want. These guys just like to make videos.
Yeah, but understand, a lot of coaches would tell you they're subscribing to these video services, just like they subscribe to scouting services. So they tell you what you want. For them to give you their money, they telling you what they want. They're not going to just subscribe to you out the blue.
I did not know that they subscribe to video service. I did not know that.
Yes. So they have to go through. Video is a different. They have video services and they have scouting services. Mm-hmm. So they subscribe. They pay that money to those guys. The thing about the video services though, the video service it's like the real estate agent who hit on the opening, on the front end and on the closing. Mm-hmm. They get the hit from the coaches and they're going to get hit from the families to pay them to make the video.
And Stacy, you got to understand, I'm glad you said that. He said defensive plays will not secure your scholarship. And then Zachary Janice came, said, I always felt important to a recruit offense, knowing I could coach defense. Thank you. Okay. Now I understand. See, sometimes we don't, it's my job on this show to ask the questions that some people be asking. If y'all, it makes sense. It makes a whole lot of sense to me.
And I like that because Zach was on the staffs at Texas Tech, at Southern Miss.
Oh, he was? Okay.
Okay. So this is coming from a guy who was on Division I staffs and has been at the JUCO level as well.
And guess what?
Odessa College.
And you notice how I succumb or I refer to these guys. Because guess what? I'm just asking the questions, guys. Some people ask me these questions sometime, and that's it. That's great information.
That is great information because if they asking the question. Now the thing is, the people who asking those questions, we hope like hell they are watching to receive the feed.
If I ask the question, these people watched.
Well, that's the ticket. And so once again, and I think Stacy asked, will those events be live? Now, as far as the live period, we are expecting for the NCAA to push back the live period or add an additional. Because here's the trap. Here's the thing what's going on. The NCAA announced they have a freeze on all of their coaches to April the 15th.
How's a freeze? What you mean?
That mean they can't go on the road and do no physical recruiting.
Dead period. Okay.
It's a dead period right now for them.
Okay.
Right? And a lot of staffs hadn't even been permitted to go into their own offices. They're recommending them stay at home and self-quarantine because the coaches, when they're together, they're around each other so much. So I mean, if you're at home and you're bringing something to work, let's everybody just get well.
Jimmy, let me help you because I heard some people and I heard the doctors clarifying last night. You're only quarantine if you said you have it. You mean social distancing. They telling the coaches to be social.
Seclude.
Yeah.
Seclude yourself.
But no.
Yeah.
No, just people been saying it, but they clarified you only quarantine if you quarantine yourself when you find out that you had, like Idris Elba and his wife both has it. They got to quarantine themselves for a certain amount of time. I just wanted to share that. But keep going. It's great information.
Say I learned that the hard way.
Who said that?
And you mean about the defense? And well, I was trying to tell you for a whole year or two, and you were somebody had made you believe otherwise, Clarence. And I was trying to explain to you. I try to give it to you just straight with no chaser. And a lot of times, what happens is the people that persuade you or try to make you guys think that maybe when it comes to this stuff, that maybe I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. You need to go back and challenge their ass and ask them, why did they push you to that, to believe you that? Then make them be accountable. That's what enough people, until people start doing that, then it's going to be so the wheels will be wobbly in this stuff. It could run smoothly. Yes, coaches want guys that can play defense. Yes, defense matters. But as a guy just said, and that's a perfect statement from Zach Janis, he was like, I recruit offense because I feel like I'm good enough to coach defense.
I like that. I
like that.
And Clarence Harris, don't say that. Defense does mean something. But the coach just said, offense is a skill that you got. Everybody can't put that thing in a hole. But I'm a good enough coach. If I have you on my squad, you going to play defense or your butt ain't going to get out. You ain't going to be one of those 8. Jimmy, don't forget, I got to put an 8 behind us one time. But I got another question, Jimmy, for you, right? I saw this the other day. They said unsigned. It helped me with this. Stacy, you can chime in, and Glenn, you can chime in. Unsigned players, okay, have played 50 to 80 viewing, unsigned seniors now. They played 50 to 80 viewing period games over their career. Even show pics of colleges on your baseline. Jimmy Hicks, I always tell people to take the pictures of colleges at the game. Played 120 high school games. Made all league, all area, all state. Have so-and-so's marketing package. 5 mixtapes and 20,000 views. You have not been slept on. The problem, people, is people have seen you. You got it, Jimmy. You need me to repeat it again.
Yes, say it again.
Okay, all right. They said to you high school seniors, right? To your unsigned high school seniors, you have played 50 to 80 viewing period games over your career. 50 to 80 games. You even showed pics of the college players. You have been shown pics of colleges at your game. Because Jimmy said, Mama, Daddy, take pictures of the coaches at your game, right? Okay, that's number 2. You played in 120 high school basketball games. You might have made all league, all area, all state. You have so-and-so's marketing package because you just said the mixtapes get the money. You got their package. You got a 5 mixtape. And guess what? The mixtapes got 20,000 views, Jimbo. So you have not been slept on, Doc. The problem is people have seen you and don't like what they saw.
And that's see, you know why it's so hypocritical for people is that we can watch shows like American Idol. You go to an audition, you get to pick whatever song you want to sing in that audition, right? And if you sing that song and Marvin grab the attention of the panel, of the voters, of the evaluators, then they're going to bring you back, right, to another city for another audition. Mm-hmm. Now this city, they're going to pick the song. You can't pick your own song.
Okay.
So now you got to be creative. You got to be able to do more than one thing, because now you're evaluated against what's supposed to be the best from different cities. They got them all and bring them all to California, and now they get to go for the right to who goes to the American Idol. It's similar in basketball. My point is, if when you sang that first song, you never know who's evaluating. There at American Idol, you see the 3 evaluators. Well, you never know who's evaluating now. They have college coaches that rely on the eyes. Let's say Dirk Minifield, who you guys may see coming, living in Houston for a long time, Houston Rocket, former University of Kentucky star, who may come in the gym and he's gonna slap 5, but he may be sitting there watching on behalf of one of his friends who's in the coaching business. And you don't realize, so that you saying, well, nobody was there to see you play. That's not true no more. Everybody relies on another set of eyes. If I trust you, then I'm going to trust your eyes. That don't mean I'm gonna trust. I'm gonna either trust your eyes. I'm gonna trust your thoughts, or how you can morph it together. That's the thing that a lot of people not realizing. So yes, people have seen you, unsigned seniors.
And Jimmy,
you're not being slept on. Is there going to be a kid? Do you not understand? There's going to be some kids every single year, no matter what city, that's going to get better in college. Do you guys just not understand that? There's going to be guys that are going to get better. We have a kid from out of Houston, Texas, straight Jesuit high school, class of 2016, named Nathaniel West. Nathaniel West went, sure, remember 2016, ironic, that's the same year that the young man from Boise State came out. So that's 2 kids from straight Jesuit high school. One went to Boise State as a walk-on, and he's now on the draft boards. The guard on the team went to LeTourneau, a non-Division I school, and this young man was just named the Division
Player of the Year.
3 Player of the Year. Then let me say it again: the Division 3 National Player of the Year. He got better. So the coach reached out to me the other day after the announcement came for the national platform. He was already the South Regional, and I asked him, I said, "Well, Coach, do you believe that he actually just got better every year, or do you believe he was that good back then?" He said, "Well, Jim, you got a point. I knew he was good, but obviously he got better every year." That's what. See, here's the thing: we just got to stop ignoring the notion that what the hell are people using shooting machines for? What the hell are you doing working out right now? Some people that are working out right now every day versus some people that are sitting back eating Doritos every day during this seclusion period. So some kids are going to be sloppy when they come back in the gym. Some people are going to be still fine-tuned. So for the time being, those kids may have gotten better during this 1 month.
And Jimmy, I'd like to interject. You can keep going, but I just want to interject. You can have player A and player B shoot the same amount of shots, shoot the same amount of everything. They're doing the same thing. But this player, they're doing the exact same thing, but this player, sometimes the player gets more confidence. Jimmy, a lot of this stuff is confidence. I'm telling you. Sometimes you get more confidence. Sometimes it's just that little, it's an innate thing. It's no outward thing that it happens to you. You always say it, but it really, sometimes people don't understand. It's really, all eggs really don't hatch on the same day. This guy can shoot exactly the same many shots as this guy. Think about it, Jimmy. I keep telling people, and I know it just goes over their head. Blake Griffin and his brother, and I tell you, they had the same workouts, went to the same trainer, all of their life. One of them a max player, and one of them is a businessman now. But they had the same exact advantages. They wasn't leaving him home and just taking Blake. They was taking both of them to the workouts, Jimmy. That's just how life works. For Derek Austin and this other kid. It just don't, Jimmy, he says it and y'all say, oh, that's one of them Hicksisms. And Jimmy, I was about to say something a minute ago, and because you said parents be going around talking about what you don't know. About a few years ago, parents used to say that. Okay? Parents, if you didn't know. But in this day, 2019 and 20, let me tell you something. It's less people saying what you don't know. And I'm going to show you something that was put on the screen. I put it on the screen. And Stacey Hicks said Hicks is one of the most knowledgeable grassroots businessmen. He messed up the businessman in the country. And I want you to know, no matter what I say and nobody say, you might take it like if somebody, nobody is, I'm not coming on a show that I share and spend time with you every day for 4 days a week. And I know what you know in this industry. Believe you me, I always reference how I've learned from 3 guys in this business. So, I just ain't got no more kids. So now I'm taking what I've learned from y'all and helping other people behind the scenes. You got to understand, it's people out here calling. You had me laughing, Jimmy, when you said, y'all got to realize I am not a grassroots guy. Let me repeat that. That's Jimmy's business. So don't come and be mad at me because Jimmy ain't got your rank. So you made me laugh when you said, it's coaches said, Robert, called me and asked me, Robert, what did you see? Jimmy, I didn't realize, I'm thinking me and them just talking, but they really want to know, hey, from your point of view, how good is this kid? Could this kid play for me? And I'll be sitting there saying, man, I didn't mean to get it. Listen to me. I didn't mean, but guess what? These coaches are trying to get it right also. And they want to know, they value certain people's opinion. And it's funny. I never thought that, Jimmy, me personally, I never thought, because they don't take me out to dinner. I don't ask them to take me to dinner and come buy me no drinks when they come to town, Jimmy. You follow me? But when they call and ask me what do I think about a kid, I'm going to give them an unbiased opinion on what I just think, what I saw at that moment. But shout out to you and thank you, Stacey, for recognizing. Like I said, Jimmy, people used to say that. I mean, people told me he's a baseball player. But you sit there and say, look here, I've studied this stuff for 19, 20 years. I got a doctorate, a PhD, a LLM. You got 12 degrees in this thing, a master's, and people value your opinion. So I don't want you to get too, because I know you're sensitive about it, but know who you are and know what you've done in this industry, man. If I'm speaking that to you right now, know what you are, know who you are, and know what you've done in this industry, man. I'm telling you. That's why I asked you, Jimmy. That's why I said, this the expert in this, let me refer to him. So Stacey just gave you your flowers while you're still living. So where else we going?
And appreciate it. I mean, it has got so many people. You have to understand, I understand that by the time kids get to the 12th grade, the walls are beginning to close in because you've invested so much time. The average family has invested so much time and money, in many cases, into the development of that person. So that means under the premise of thinking that just because I invested, there's going to be a return on my investment. And that's not the case. That's not the case, and so that means that, and I really believe not many people, not as many as you would think of even of the grassroots coaches out there. Not many of those guys are promising scholarships to the Division I level. I don't think many of them are. There may be some that are, but I don't think many of them are. That's not in the majority. Mm-hmm. What they're doing is that many of them are promising you the opportunity to be able to come in with them, and they will put you in front of them. Mm-hmm. And if you do what they believe that you could do, because they're recruiting you, because they saw something that you did in your scholastic setting, that guess what? The rest gonna fall from history. It's gonna fall right into place. And for many kids, just like the American Idol, you get in front of one of those bright lights, and mind you, the way you've been marketed, the way you've been advertised, that's what people are that's going to morph their expectations. Bottom line. And for some kids, that's
so sometimes it's good to just shut up and just let, like I tell people, don't tell me how good he is before I get there.
Now, mind you, let's for one. Okay. And we're going to ties right into what Herb Baker just asked.
Okay.
Last night we had a conversation about the 2021 class, two players in particular. Okay. Javier Francis and Sir Isaac Heron.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Javier Francis asked, do I think that Javier Francis is better than Sir Isaac Heron? I say yes, right now. Mm-hmm. Is Sir Isaac Heron a better college prospect? Yes. But that don't mean that you're better than him right now.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. I like that.
Is the Greek Freak better than LeBron James, or is Kawhi Leonard better than LeBron James right now? That's debatable, but many people wouldn't get mad if you said yes. But is there a better body of work now? Then you understand. Back to these young men in high school. I don't even want to compare them to no proposal. Yeah. So back to Javier Francis and what I said, Herb, is that when I'm talking with college coaches and with anybody, have been for the last year, my marketing was defense. Watch his defense first. Don't even pay attention to the offense right now, because it's way in progress.
Okay.
Defense first. Watch him on the defensive end, because he plays way taller than what he is. On the defensive end, he's what Fabian White was. Mm-hmm. When Fabian White was Fabian White wasn't 6'8". Mm-hmm. Fabian White wasn't this bulky. Fabian White was a kid that we saw that got up under a certain tutelage and developed and got better. But it was defense first, and it was fundamentals first. And what I did was, a while ago, I explained to you that the coaches don't care much about the defense. True that. We're talking about guards for the most part. But yes, if you're marketing, this is what he does, then guess what's going to happen? A lot of the college coaches that would normally recruit the number 1, number 2, number 3 player from out of Greater Houston, they are normally expecting, if you're saying this guy's defense first and they look at the size and he doesn't pass the eye test, he's not going to be able to get up. They're going to have to see with their eyes that he can be able to physically contain a 6'9" on the sneaker circuit before they move on him. That's how that's going to go. That's why no matter what, you're going to have to prove. So that's the thing. That's why a kid like Javier Francis doesn't have a lot of those Power 5 offers. You see, guys? Because they know he's not there offensively. Defense has been keeping him down. Of course, his resume and the class is a level down than we would think normally. But as far as bigs, front court guys, this could be one of the better classes that we've had in a while for the accumulation. Think about it. In the front court, Sir Isaac, Javier. You got Chooks over at Yates, who comes back next year. You have the kid at Sharpstown, Joshua. What's the kid name? Farmer. That's 4 off the top of my head. That's enough to keep everything honest, right? Mm-hmm. So this thing, back to what I was explaining to you, Herb, is that yes, last night, once again, I said right now, he is better right now. None of those kids have been throwing knockout punches. So what the hell is the matter right now? Think about it. Don't you not remember Sir Isaac Heron? Want me to go and pull up the stats from the Super 16 extravaganza? Just like Josh Foreman laid an egg when he played against Sir Isaac in the Bel Air League. And you still was talking about the Bel Air League just last night. The Bel Air League is non-scholastic. That wasn't even the season. You know what though? That is never going to erase from your memory. That's how this stuff goes when I say you never know who's watching. That's never going to erase my memory when I saw him only score 4 points in court number 2 at Yates when you were watching on Baller TV. Remember that? You saw the game on Baller TV. When Lamar High School was playing. I can tell you the opponent now. I can pull it up. But that's what I'm saying. You wasn't, remember, certain kids are going to continue to get better. We don't have to make them believe that just because they're not. All people care about is the valedictorian in academics. When the last time you heard somebody tell you, man, my kid number 3 in the class. That's great if you're an athlete, but an academic kid, they're not caring about that. Valedictorian, salutatorian, whatever they call it. I never was that good in academics. That wasn't even a chance for me. But I know, so I'm just saying, understand, guys, understand. Those kids will all have a chance to dance. Javier Francis is playing with Drive Nation this summer. Guess what? He can't run. He can't hide. So what's going to be the expectation for Javier Francis is not going to be the same expectations for Sir Isaac, who's playing with the Houston Defenders on the Under Armour circuit. You know why? Because Javier Francis, he's not going to be expected to bring, and I asked her last night, I said, her, what would you call a success for Sir Isaac this summer with the Houston Defenders? Knowing that they have a lot of mouths to feed, a lot of players on that team that has never played 17U sneaker ball before. What would you think the expectation? You say 15 points, 10 rebounds. I wrote it down in my phone when I got home last night to keep it in my calendar for accountability. So 15 and 10. Let me explain you something, guys. The Houston Hoops last year, nobody averaged 15 points and 10 rebounds. It's hard to average 15 points and 10 rebounds on the 17 and under sneaker team. It's hard. So the expectations is what derive, just like in earnings, just like in Wall Street, the expectation is what drives stocks. People will buy the rumor, sell the fact. So in this situation, we're going to expect 15 and 10 from Sir Isaac. I don't expect 15 and 10 from Javier. I'm expecting more for a success for him is to be one of the leaders in block shots, one of the leaders in rebounds on the leaderboard. If he can be in the leaderboard of the EYBL in block shots and rebounds, then the rest will fall. That will be a success to him. If he's not, it's not a success for him. Because that means we've advertised and marketed deep. Because we damn sure can't market his offense. It's not known for that. Although it's coming along. But that's kind of like, that's going to give you guys that part.
That was good, Jimmy. We had a quick hiccup, but it went right through your talking and got right back on. So find the new page and refresh to the new page. It's back up. It just went wham, wham, and came right back up. I think I pushed something that I shouldn't have pushed, though. But it's all right. But it was good. You came right back on. You can't go. Herb came right back in there and said 15 and 10. But I mean, that Jimmy, that was a unique situation. You got to understand, everybody wants their guy, their kid. I told you, John Lucas told me a long time ago, parents, and I want y'all, I'm trying to share the show back so people can come back to where we were. Jimmy, John Lucas told me, he said, Robert, don't worry about your son being the best ninth grader. Don't worry about him being the best 10th grader. Don't worry about him being the best 11th grader. He said, you better make sure he's the best 12th grader. Because that summer between 11th, after you got the 11th grade, that summer, you're a 12th grader, right, Jimmy? Really?
Yeah, you're rising senior.
And he said, always just make sure he's the best 12th grader. And I know we want it early because some people get to go to the McDonald's game. Some people get to go to this. Some people need to go to this. So Jimmy, I kind of understand, but I understand where y'all coming from with it. In that manner. It's everybody want their kid in this day of instant gratification and social media. Jimmy, everybody want their kid.
But don't choices come with the consequences? Yes. Choices precede the consequences.
Jimmy, what about
you have a choice?
What about the thing I sent you about Sam Mitchell? That video.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Mitchell was telling them dudes. Zion was in that huddle. Quentin Grimes was in this huddle. That man said, I played in the league for 14 years. I went to Mercer College. That's what, y'all look up Mercer, where Sam Mitchell went. He said, but every year I sent some of you ranked people home. Jimmy, for 14 years, Sam Mitchell sent a ranked player or a ranked guy home. So we can talk about these rankings and where we got them ranked and where we got them. But boy, your butt at the right time. See, Jimmy, and I understand what you're saying. Because guess what? I saw this kid play. And I said, Jimmy, and I know you kind of think that I wasn't challenging what you know because you seen the kid more than me. But I always pretend if somebody just dropped me on a planet from Mars, I didn't have social media, and I walk in a gym and watch you play that day, that's how I look at it. That's just how I look at it. I don't have the advantage of you, Jeffrey Day, Doug Jones, Marcus Sloan. Definitely not Doug Williams. Marcus Sloan. I don't have that advantage to watch y'all. So, watch these people that much. So that's what, I just go by what I saw that day. And I understand her because I haven't seen Sir Isaac yet. But every video I see of him, he looked nice. But you've seen him stink the place up. Josh Farmer, you remember when I came to your thing?
I've seen all of those guys.
I know, a lot of times.
Lay eggs.
Yes.
More than once.
Yes.
I've seen all of them. So that means everybody get a mulligan to lay an egg one time.
Right.
I've seen all of those 4 big men that I've seen mentioned a while ago lay an egg more than once. Hell, Josh Farmer just scored 6 points in a playoff game, a money game against Hightower, where the team got beat by 20, 30 points.
That hurt.
In the round of the playoff. That's an egg.
That hurt.
If you're supposed to be, if you're deemed as a consensus first chair,
right,
a magna cum laude player,
right,
in a city like Greater Houston, and you're an upperclassman. I mean, if you was a 9th grader, yeah, but an upperclassman, and you come out 6 points, nah.
Yeah.
Not in the playoff, no. Not in the money game.
So what did that tells you about a player? Because you still got him ranked up high. Well, what does that say about the player? You hadn't dropped his ranking, right?
No. What Doug does those underclassmen.
Okay,
So
Doug. So Doug hadn't dropped. So I'm just trying to figure out, because I'm telling you, Josh Farmer is an enigma to me. Because when I first saw him, I was at Yates in that gym, and I'm saying, who is this dude? And you said, Hatter, watch him again. You got to watch him more than one time now. And then I saw him and Javier Francis. No, excuse me, JVF. You better watch that, Jimmy. Mama said JVF. I'm calling him JVF. JVF Francis at Rick's event over at Episcopal during Thanksgiving. Guess what? They was going at it like the Clash of the Titans. I said, wow. So now then I got a chance to see him against Bryce in Hightower, and sad to say, Josh, the little money you had put in my bank, boy, you took it out at ATM. So I got to see Josh some more. So Jimmy, I guess that's nothing against the kid. Because Jimmy, he got some measurables. You know how y'all say measurables? I like how he look. When we in the airport, I like for my player to look like Josh Farmer. When we just in the airport or walking in the gym, I want a lot of my players to look like Josh Farmer. But Josh, it don't help if you look like Tarzan and play like Jan. If you look like Tarzan, you got to play like Tarzan. Okay.
And of course, Clarence Harris said he didn't have a good team, meaning the Josh Farmer, Sharpstown High School. He didn't have a good team, but they were better talent. They played like they were at the park. Let me tell you something.
Jim, I got a question. Jim, them players he had missed a whole lot of shots. A whole lot. So guess what he should have had 20 rebounds then, Clarence Harris.
Well, and here's what I want to inject in that. And here's the thing. Going into the game, we knew that, come on, not many people expected for Sharpstown to beat Hightower in that first round playoff game. Not many people expected that. Here's what you expected. Here's the thing. Did you expect for Lamarck to beat Jack Yates? Lamarck got beat by more than Sharpstown got beat by. Lamarck got beat by 50. Right?
Right.
You didn't expect for them to get beat by 50, even after that star player went on social media and said they would never get beat by 50. But you know what happened after that game? That star player gained more respect.
He got his money.
Because the people that watched him, even while Yates was kicking Lamarck's ass, people that watched him say, Jordan Ivory Curry, he legit. He's legit. You see, that's what people are looking for. That's the thing. When Sharpstown played Hightower, people didn't leave us saying that about Josh. You see the difference? When Sharpstown played Madison, and Madison had a young fella. They put a can of whoopers on Sharpstown over at the pavilion back in February. I was sitting right there. And guess what? In those situations, you are expected to at least, you're not expected to win every game, but you're expected to show up. That's the thing. When Memorial High School lost, got upset, I think in the playoffs at Delmar, Memorial High School, guess what? The young fellow who's going to Air Force, he showed up. When Lamar High School and lost in the playoffs, upset at the buzzer by Cy Fair, Sir Isaac showed up that game.
But Jimmy, could it be?
He showed up that game. I mean, he showed up. That's what people expecting you to show up when they're coming to see you under the bright lights. Not when you're there. Not the game that you pick. I'm talking about when the game that they're there.
Jimmy, could it been you know, because everybody want to blame coaches sometimes. Because Jeffrey Day just brought it my attention, and now I go back and play the game out. He could have had a better game if he would have went on the block, but he was out there trying to play on the wing. You follow? Jimmy, I think he would have did better if he had been inside. He kept shooting jumpers and trying to take people off the dribble.
Well, we understand where that comes from when in the heat of battle.
Okay.
A lot of people are going to resort to their natural habitats. So that means you're on the big stage. Some players are going to be prepared more than to a greater extent than others. Some players are going to come out there trying to show you something, or trying to prove to you that they can do something. And in the process of trying to do so, they're gonna lay an egg. That's why people always tell people when you're playing on the live period in front of the Division I coaches are there. Mm-hmm. That's why you always tell the players, don't shoot not one shot from a spot on the floor that you don't think you can make it with your eyes closed. Once again, if you don't think you can make that shot with your eyes closed, don't shoot it during the live period, because you are going to be, it's like you got pop quizzes, you got tests,
right?
You got midterms, and you got final exams.
Yeah.
These live periods, those are like a midterm or a final exam, depending on what grade you're in.
It counts for a whole lot.
They count for way more. They weigh way more than the pop quizzes. So when you're seeing people on the local circuit, those are quizzes.
Gotcha.
Money games, those are tests.
So state championship games or them games?
That's the equivalent of an exam, of a final exam if you're a senior.
Final exam.
But if you're not a senior, you see, then that's a midterm. That holds more weight.
Yeah.
How you're performing in a state like Texas, because not every state.
Every state, yeah.
In a state like Texas, if you make it to state, that platform on the scholastic scale is about as good as high as it's going to get. Aside from, let's say, of course, this year, think about it. This year we've seen a surge and there's a change in progress, meaning that the Thanksgiving Hoop Fest was the apex of scholastic exposure in the state of Texas. There's no other event in this state that provided more of an ability for exposure, meaning to the national rankings platforms, to the college coaches alike, as well as to the community, to the basketball nominal fans who served as the jurors. The jurors. You were on trial. Some kids walked out of there acquitted. Some kids walked out of there convicted. And you got, depending on who's the juror, that you got a sentence with them. Some people gonna get, I gotta see him again. Like you said, you got probation. You on probation with me. I saw you. Some people, you got a life sentence, man. This kid ain't worth a quarter. That's how people do. They leave the gym.
I know.
You go, everybody leaves and go to Papa Do's or Tipper Do's if you're in Duncanville, and they're going to eat something and they're talking about what just happened.
Right. I got you.
In different congregations. Different people go to the hotel lobbies. Wherever it may be, and they're talking. Think about it. Those are the deliberation room. And to where they go and deem this. Man, this kid, I thought he was gonna be all that. He ain't busted great. And vice versa.
And people got to understand that. I've came to the conclusion. Because sometimes some of this stuff get a little personal. You can see a kid just constantly, passing the test, and people still don't want to give him no prop. And then I had came about a month ago, I just came to the conclusion that, hey, no matter what, Jimmy, you just said it. Somebody gonna get a kid a life sentence no matter what he do. No matter how good it is. No matter how, they gonna give him a life sentence. So I had to learn, hey, can't worry about them. You know, this kid, I mean, one thing Sir Isaac got, he looked like one of them guys I see walking, coming in the airport. He looked like one of them. That's what I call him. He looked like one of them. And now he just got there on the right time, at the right time this summer, whenever we get this thing over with. He just got to play at the right time, at the right place, and the right person see him. And guess what? Oh, he got to be prepared, Jimmy. All you can do is give him the opportunity. And then when he get there, hey, you know, he got to do what he got to do. I mean, it's
Well,
just...
and that's another things I mentioned you guys. I want you to really, really let this soak in. And I mentioned earlier, choices and consequences. And if, for example, when you go to certain events, right, the grassroots period, certain events you go to, I don't know what you're being led to believe, but there's on the amateur level, you have your rivals and your 24/7 sports and your scout.com and you know, your different national, you know, amateur media platforms that have the websites and all. There's many more. I'm talking about the ones that have the websites that people can put eyes on. Now, guys like Dane Irvin in his BI reports, he don't have a website. So he walks and moves in, you know, in I'm saying not silence, but it's not this. So I'm not reason why he's omitted. And there's many other black guys that don't have the websites.
Mm-hmm. And have it
which
published.
in this today's society has proven. If you didn't think websites didn't matter before, if you didn't think, look at what you're watching right now on the Chop Shop. Now it goes and proves how far ahead of the curve that the Chop Shop was. You know why? Did you watch ESPN this morning? The Fox can't even do one because those people aren't even compatible enough to be able to do what they got to do on their end. So so Shannon Sharp and other fella, they not even doing a show.
Sure enough.
Because they're using the ESPN is using a very similar software to what we are using. How do we know? Because some of their backgrounds are the same backgrounds, they're trademarked. That's how we know. Meaning you can't use certain backgrounds, they're trademarked. Unless you have a certain software. So think about it. So back to this other stuff, what I'm saying, guys, is all going to come down. And the thing is with these young people, you, first of all, you need to look at your young people. And some of y'all know that some of these kids can't handle. If they was #1 tomorrow, they couldn't handle that. Can your kid handle if he was #1 tomorrow?
That's a good one. Hey, Jamie, who is #1 in that class?
Guys, you put their ass at #1, and they put him at #1. You know what happened? They come.
Who is in it? Who is #1 in that class?
Well, it's right.
Just right now. It's
right now. Right now is Javier Francis.
I got a question.
Right now. Doug Jones does the rankings for those kids right now and has done them since they've been in high school. So I want to clarify that. Mm-hmm. Now, understand, my fingerprints is on because that's RCS Sports is the founder of that.
Right.
So I mean, but at the same time, that's Doug's list. I grab it when they get to the 12th grade.
I got a question for you. Stacey said, Mr. Hicks, why is the kid, in your opinion, when you see them, what makes? Because I guess a question before, he wanted to know the strengths and weaknesses. In other words, don't compare the two dudes. Tell me, he's saying about the strengths and weaknesses of the two, Sir Isaac and Javier. And then he asks you a question. Why is this kid, in your opinion, makes him better now than the other kid? That's a good question. Because you said he's just better now.
Yeah, he's better now.
What makes him better now?
Well, first and foremost, here's the thing. This is and it's not really a trap, but somehow people just really don't want my ground rules to be what they are. And my ground rule, I say my ground rules, and that is with RCS Sports, right? Mm. And we don't put trajectory is not primary with RCS Sports rankings.
Mm-hmm.
It matters, but it's not primary. So and we're probably understand. Remember, I told you guys, my mistake when I can't start doing this back in 2001. That's what I thought, because being the son of a school teacher, I was under the impression, because there's no blueprint for this stuff. There's nothing you go and read and say, this is how you do a scouting service. This is how you evaluate. This is so what I did, and I've always done, number one, I restrict myself from doing the X's and O's with coaches. That ain't what I do. If you ask any college coach, that's why a lot of college coaches, they know. If you need to talk basketball coach, he go to number to his high school coach. He go number to his summer coach. He go number to his guy, his street guy. There you go. They gonna tell you whatever. I don't do that. What I do, I'm gonna provide you anybody's cell phone number that you need without having to charge you for the cell phone number. I'm that 411. That makes me valuable. You see? So secondly, once again, we don't do the whole concept of the rankings is basically being a son of a school teacher, meaning that from one period to the next period, based on where you left out the previous period, it's a running tab. So that means it does not, who's the better prospect may not be the better player. You see, with this, is that wrong? Hell yeah, it might be wrong, but guess what? It's mine. And it's been working for me for 19 years.
But that's just the way you do it, and it's okay. Wait a minute, that's your niche. You know how they say that's your niche in this business.
Oh, indeed. Indeed. And so understand, guys, that's the thing. So when you're thinking about the young, and you say, well, what happens, how would you rank one guy over the next? Well, understand, it's a running tab. First of all, those are questions you have to ask Doug Jones.
A running tab.
Doug Jones does the list. You're trying to make it. I do not do those.
You don't do the skill. You ain't doing the skill, like what makes him better and what make that. Okay, I got you.
Jones.
That ain't your. Okay. I got you.
So therefore, you think about it. So therefore, you take that, and I guess maybe some people may think one day that it would be a slippage, and they'll say, well, I got him right here. No, I don't do it until they get to the 12th grade. Now, by the time we get to the 12th grade, in most cases, if it's 5 kids, 2 of those kids gonna be separated themselves. Because that means now the summer prior, they have to play the 17U circuit. And some will get judged, and some will get judged on the lower end because of your choice of who you chose or to play with. That determines where you will be playing. So if you chose to play in certain places, that means, just like the guys, just put it like this. If you got a player out there, and if TexasHoops.com is the long-standing authority of the state. Now that doesn't mean, I'm just saying, they have the most bandwidth of any of with the college coaches and the high school coaches collectively. Mike Kunstad, if you guys didn't know, he's former head of the TABC. Mike Kunstad was Danny Casper's head coach in high school. A lot of you guys may not know Danny Casper at Texas State. He played for Mike Kunstad. So who do you think if Danny Casper's allegiance is going to be, and when it comes to the state of Texas, is going to be to whom?
Mike Kunstad.
The TABC, he's a member, and because he was a coach, and he was one of the administrators. So who do you think the TABC is going to have allegiance to? That's being on the right side of politics. Now, if you don't play in one of their events, that don't mean that they're not going to rank you. but it hinders your chances if you are an average guy.
Okay.
See, because they can't watch the sneaker kids, because every sneaker event, guess what Mike Kunstad them is having?
An event.
They have their own event that's live. So they're never going to see you play at the EYBL or the Under Armour circuit unless it's in Dallas and one of his co-workers, one of his employees venture over to the place and go check you out then. And that's like that of a window. Understand what's going on. So that, with that being said, putting yourself in a position, if this stuff matters to you so much, then put that into your equations when you're making your decisions of where you're going to play at and who you're going to play with. If that matters so much. If it don't, then you got to suck it up and take it like a man. You chose to play here, and they're not going to be wherever the person is that's going to be evaluated. Don't get mad. You chose to do that. So that means you got to wait until that guy can see you. Otherwise, you got to go and play his event. You got to suck it up. That's just how life is. That's how it goes. If Rivals.com or if ESPN don't see you play, they're not putting you on your list, man. They're not putting you on your list. That don't mean you still, they can see you still won't get there, but they're not. If Eric Bossi ain't saw you play, so how is there a double standard? So know what that means? And that is a double standard. It seems it is. But then that's life, because we got to work twice as hard, and I understand that. But then if you watch these guys, you don't have no complaints. Ain't no emails going to Rivals.com. Ain't no emails going to ESPN or 24/7 Sport. Evan Daniels. You're not emailing him. You're not pissed off at him, are you? You see how the thing go? So that means what event are you going to be, even if you play in the sneaker circuit? Those guys can be in the building. There's 6 courts going on. I don't mean he's watching your game. A lot of those guys going to do, especially now coming up, a lot of people going to do, either they're going to do it 2 ways. They're going to do one event for one slot weekend, and they're not going back to, they're going to go to another event the next period, and another event. A lot of guys of the national proportion will try to go and patronize each one of the sneaker circuits once. You see? Based on, now everybody's dates is messed up because you don't know what's what. So we don't know what's going to happen when the dates line up. It used to be really easy because there would always be at least one opportunity to see 2 different sneaker lines in the same city. No, it used to be like that. You would have one event, whether it be, Indianapolis, when they did it there, they had 2 different events. Dallas, they had 2 different ones, I think. If you want to count Atlanta and Augusta, that's, it's 2.5 hours drive. If you want to count that, that's kind of, but still one plane ride. You can count. There have been cities where there's been more than one dual sneaker lines at the same time. You guys have to make sure you know that you're independents, because there's more of you out there. This way it really works for you. You got to make sure and ask your coaches, what's your schedule? Where you're going to play? Before you pay your money, if you're a 17 and under team, can you request, why not request to be at a certain location? If the person does not give you a game at the main site, if they've said okay and took your money, then you should not go there anymore, even if it's my event, because you're a consumer. If there's no other time than to grab control of your rights as a consumer, this is it right now. That's one of the very reasons that I decided to not. I could have easily kept everybody's money that that paid for the spring icebreaker, we had about 200 teams had already paid. I could have easily kept that money and say, you know what, guys, I'm gonna roll it over to the next event. Y'all can come in next event because the price is gonna go up because it's the 20th year and we're giving out a prize. So we're gonna roll it over next year. Don't worry, we got you. No, I give you back all of your bread. Because know why? As a business, as a small business operator, the convenience is what matters. The hospitality is what matters. We're not the Walmart. This is a small business that operated in a minority small business. You're getting people their money back. And the ones that'll come now, they should appreciate it and remind them, you know, hopefully they'll come on back. They'll come back if you're giving a good product. But that's the thing want to remind you guys all of. And I shout out to Herb Ladee on the
What's up, Herb? Where you been, baby?
And Herb's out there, and of course, and
Jimmy, we got tomorrow. We got to get to the TABC. Yeah, we didn't get to it today.
That's a conversation for tomorrow.
Yeah,
we want to go. So I mean, you guys go to TABC. Speaking of them, they've released their all-state teams, and so the conversation tomorrow. That way, now you guys have enough time to do your homework.
And y'all got enough time to watch The Banker this week, because I got to tell you about it.
So remember now, this TABC list, the all-state for public schools from 6A down to 1A. But you know, in the cities like Houston and DFW, we normally look at the top three classifications, which is 4A, 5A, and 6A. Well, and the question is that I have for tomorrow, if Dallas is better than Houston, then shouldn't Dallas have more players selected to the all-state teams?
Damn, I got to look it up now.
No, that's a question. I don't know if it is or not. But if they're better, if it's no comparison, then what would have happened if Houston had more players selected than Dallas? Who selects these players? The high school coaches. The high school coaches. So we're getting into those lists tomorrow.
I can't wait.
As opposed to who got snubbed, who made the list, and a lot more from 4A, 5A, 6A. This is going to be a great convo on tomorrow. And also, we're supposed to be joined Mo Elrod, who's another small business operator who released a short film last month, and he's working on part 2 of it. And Mo Elrod has been a good, well received in the community from Chicago. He moved to H-Town. He worked on the N1 tour circuit, and he's going to come because Mo Elrod has some new stuff and he has his hand in. And guess what? He's been a long-time supporter of the Chop Shop, and the Chop Shop is going to support him and his efforts and on his latest venture. So we're going to talk. We're going to have him. He's expected to join us for a good convo on tomorrow as well. So you guys hang on in there. Meanwhile, we gave you guys a double shot of the Chop Shop today. And with this special overtime edition, I hope you got your fix. And but
yeah, it's time to get out of here.
On down, Dino's back, and Yabba Dabba do this thing for now. We up out of here, man. That's a great combo.
Great.
Gotta go back. Gotta go on back and
look at
and
the comment.
Show. And we'll see you guys on the 22 hours, man. Peace. We up out of here. Chop Shop.
Jim Hicks, Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live.